America is often coined the opportunity land, which is the pull factor for many immigrants. However, soon after coming to America, many immigrants realize the hardships they may face. Saahas For Cause is one such organization that attempts to help immigrants from South Asia in their transition into American society. I sat down with the founder of Saahas For Cause, Payal Sawhney, to discuss how she runs this all-encompassing nonprofit. Could you give us a quick background on what Saahas For Cause is, like its mission statement?
Saahas For Cause is a not-for-profit organization. It is a 501(c)(3). Our mission is to uplift quality of life of South Asian immigrants. As we all know that as immigrants, we suffer a lot from adjusting to this new host country. And acculturation stress is huge when we are coming at different levels, different phases of our life. And so that is what we are trying to do.
Okay. So why did you get into this nonprofit spectrum? And is it because you identify as an immigrant yourself?
Yes, you're very right. I want to do this work because I have my own journey of an immigrant, which I know is not easy. It was not easy. And everybody who's hearing me, if you're an immigrant, you will be able to empathize and relate to what I'm going to say. When I came to United States of America in 2000, I was very naive, very new to this country. I had my accent. The Hindi accent that today I very proudly carry, but at that time I struggled.
Yes.
I tried to pretend a lot. I tried to put on the American accent quite a bit.
Yes.
But I failed. I miserably failed. And I've always worked in healthcare. So, working with multidisciplinary teams, doing rounds with them, wanted to fit in. But eventually I figured out that I am much better when I'm authentic.
Yes.
And I'm myself. Yes. And slowly and eventually everybody was able to understand what I was saying or what I was trying to convey. So on that intellectual and clinical level, I think I was absolutely fine.
Okay.
So my journey and my experiences that I had as an immigrant has a big impact on me. And I really feel that if there are organizations like Saahas For Cause, we can help support those newcomers much better so that they know that, this is where I can go and talk, or I feel lost, or I feel really low, because I'm alone. I don't have my family. I don't have my relatives. I don't have friends, and so it's a very simple mission, simple cause, but that is what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
So who are the people that your nonprofit strives to help?
So we are dedicated to help anybody and everybody who's an immigrant. We specialize in serving South Asian community because we are South Asians. We serve youth, women, and older adults. Youth because youth is the second generation.
Yes.
That also is impacted by immigration of their parents, and they live in that dichotomy of either to relate to the American peers or to relate to their family, their parents, and please them and fit in the family forum.
Yes.
So that is the part that we are trying to focus. We are trying to make them more comfortable with their identities in both spectrums. And then we have women's health, where domestic violence and sexual assault is huge. We as South Asians feel that we are very family oriented and domestic violence doesn't happen to us, but that's a big myth.
Yes.
There is a lot of domestic violence that happens in our families.
Yes.
And it is not only intimate partner violence, but there is also violence through families, through in-laws, through sister-in-law, through extended family. And so that is another part of work that we are focused on. We are also focused on education. So we go to different forums, we go to schools, we go to colleges, universities, and we talk about domestic violence from South Asian perspective. We try to make them understand who South Asians are, so that, we need to get out and let people know that we are here, because we are known to be a very quiet and silent community.
Yes,
We just live in our hub and in our bubble, and we are very happy.
Yes.
But I think it's about time that we get out and we talk.
Yes.
So that, and then we also work with seniors, South Asian seniors, because they struggle with a lot of loneliness. And loneliness can lead to depression and anxiety. So the project that we have is called Mauj Masti Sehat, and it is a preventive mental health project where we meet with our South Asian seniors in a culturally sensitive forum. We do a lot of group psychotherapy, but it is all embedded in the cultural format that, it is not in the face, because mental health even today is a big taboo in our community. So we don't announce ourselves as a pure mental health organization, but we are a social service organization, dedicated to do. Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Could you tell us the English version of your Mauj Masti Sehat?
So Mauj Masti Sehat is fun, relaxation, and health.
Okay.
So Sehat is health. Mauj Masti is fun and relaxation. So basically putting them at ease and having them enjoy, the peer group, peer network without the influence of their kids or without, the burden of taking care of their grandkid. It is just them, their age group. And Sehat, because, at that part of our life, we really need to focus on our physical health and mental health. So we bring experts into our forums every time, and we touch, one or the other organ, and we talk about it.
Well, I know that your educational background also plays a very big role in your the mental health aspect of your nonprofit. So could you give us a quick background on that?
So I did my first master's in India, and that's master's in social work, and I specialized in medical and psychiatry. So mental health was my passion from the get-go. I worked in different mental health setups in India, and when I came to United States, I started working for maternal and child health in New York, and I worked with postpartum depression patients quite a bit. And even there, I think I was able to utilize my experience of an immigrant, because I worked with a lot of Hispanics and African Americans there. And then I also worked at Ground Zero.
Wow.
When I was in New York when 9/11 happened.
Wow.
And I served at the ER that night, because we were expecting a lot of casualties coming in. And after that, I volunteered at Ground Zero to do the therapy and counseling for a lot of trauma clients, and PTSD was the major diagnosis, at that time. Then I moved to Chicago, where I worked for a mental health hospital in their intensive care unit, and had an amazing experience to understand that mental health is a taboo everywhere. No matter it was in India or it was in America, I think we human beings are very, very similar at some level. And there I also worked with LGBTQ community to a great extent. After that, we moved to Cincinnati, where I worked with bariatric surgery team, which is a weight loss surgery team. I worked with teenagers who were struggling with obesity. And it was an amazing experience to see that how discrimination is also at another level of size and shape. And so I created a support group for body image. And when I was in Cincinnati, I did my second master's in health administration, because I really wanted to understand healthcare from systems perspective. I joined Global Health Department of Cincinnati Children's Hospital, where we took care of patients from all over the globe.
I know that you discussed how women in the South Asian community are victims of domestic violence, but another thing that is prominent in South Asian community still to this day is patriarchy. A lot of women are not always seen as equals to their male counterparts. So I was wondering if you felt some type of discrimination when presenting yourself as an executive in your own business that you founded, and like any takeaways that you have from that.
I mean to say, fortunately, after coming to LA, I did not, experience that. But yes, when I started my journey in New York, it was difficult, to make my own position, to make my own mark. Yes, definitely. One, as a female. Second, as a female of color.
Yes.
And having an accent, coming from a totally different country, and making people understand that I know the subject.
Yes.
I can contribute. So it was a struggle. And yes, patriarchy is there, it's still there. And I see that in my practice, because when I serve these females suffering from domestic violence, it takes a long while for the South Asian females to reach out for help, only because of our patriarchal system.
Yes.
Because they get married in India or in Pakistan or Bangladesh, and then they come here to live their life in America, their glorified image of America.
Yes.
But unfortunately, when they are struck with domestic violence or sexual assault, they are confused, because they were not expecting anything like that to happen. Because of the patriarchal system, and because of the collectivistic society that we are, we think as family. So the female is trying to save her face, she's trying to save the pride of her family, and is very silently suffering with this domestic violence and other kind of abuse that she's bearing from her partner and his family. So when a phone call comes to me, or when a patient walks through my door, I take each and every client very seriously, because it takes a lot for a South Asian female to pick up a phone call to reach out to me. Probably she has reached the rock bottom. She is exhausted everything that was in her capacity, and that's when that phone call comes to me. So every phone call is very important.
Okay. Do you have any specific phone calls or anything that someone has said that has reached out to you that you feel has really embodied your mission, like why you're doing this, or something that has really changed your perspective?
This female whose husband was in jail because of the domestic violence. In the and so she was coming to group therapy because she was missing him. Domestic violence is a very peculiar kind of a disease, where it's love-hate relationship. It's very, very cloudy. The females are in that confused phase that what they are doing is right or wrong. So there was a female who said that her husband used to spit on her. That was his form of abuse. And still she was feeling guilty that because of her he was in jail. And so that's an example of how extreme these situations are, and how vicious these cycles of domestic violence are, that the females cannot think right till a long, long, long time, that enough is enough, until they can really stand up for their pride. And that's where I feel that importance of mental health therapy and counseling is so huge, where you can make them understand, give them that window of opportunity to analyze.
So when starting this nonprofit, had you started a business prior, or this was your first business that you've started?
So this is my first business, not-for-profit venture that I've started. I've always worked. I've worked in healthcare, I've worked in hospitals and other not-for-profits. But I wanted to do much more than what I was able to do in other positions. And I think opening up my own not-for-profit gives me that platform where I can really jump into different roles. I can sometimes be an executive, sometimes I can just become a case manager, sometimes I can just become that researcher who's sitting, on internet and just researching what are the other things that I can bring for my clients. So I think I just love this freedom.
So I know a lot of people like that freedom that they have just because it not only allows them to cater to their clients better, but it also gives them a lot of flexibility with their family life and their home life. So I know that you were mentioning how difficult it is for people to pick up the phone and reach out, but how have you been taken on advertising this like very niche nonprofit, and how have you made sure that your resources were available to the people that needed them?
So I have group of volunteers that I work with, and most of these volunteers are empty nesters, and these are highly educated South Asian females who have given up their careers or did not work for a long time because either they were raising their kids or taking care of their elders, or some other reason. So with this, I have been able to tap on the wealth that we have in our community. So in my team, I have software engineers, I have hotel management, managers who had great experience in past. I have MBAs. I have scientists who are part of this team. So we have divided our chores, our marketing platforms. So one of my volunteers, she takes care of the FB, the Facebook. One of them Instagram, and the others are on email, WhatsApp. So we are trying to use all the social media platforms that we can. And the biggest, I think, means of marketing for us is word of mouth. Because all the clients that come to our forums, the next time when they come, they bring a friend with them. And so it's been growing. My Irvine forum started with 15, and now every session we have 40 plus people coming in there. And so it's really heartwarming. And then we also do just walk through the communities and just distribute the flyers, the old style marketing. That also sometimes works out to be very successful.
So how long ago did you start this business?
We started, I think, 2019.
Yeah.
We are not very old. We are very kind of new.
Well, that obviously makes sense because your marketing techniques are a lot more modern and refined. So what would you have said to the Payal from the 2 or 3 years ago who was planning on starting this business? Anything that you've learned along the way that you would want to tell her if you could go back in time?
I think keeping faith in what your mind is telling you and what your gut is telling you, I think is very important, because I'm going to say I had this thought, but I hushed it for a long time, thinking that no, I'm okay where I'm okay. Why get out and do so much? Yeah. So the confidence. I think the confidence and courage. And I think the most important part is to have your family on your side before you do anything like that, because it takes a lot of your time. Lot of your family time is gone when you start any such venture. So definitely be mindful of your family situation if you're really ready to jump into something like this.
Could you tell the listeners where to find Saahas online and on social media?
Yeah. You can check us out at saahasforcause.org. That's our website. And you can reach us out through our email. It is payal@saahasforcause.org. Phone number is 562-526-2508. So please feel free to reach out to us and we'll be happy to talk to you.
Thank you.